Whenever you're ready, John.
Don.
Okay, camera's on. Joanne, could you do roll call, please? Flip the switch. All right.
John Gray,
Here.
Ruth Dries, here present, Joyce Reeves. Here. Richard Handelsman, I don't see.
Not here.
John Hess.
Here.
I remembered to call you. Bobby Levin is not here. David Furness.
He's on the phone.
David.
He's on the phone.
Okay.
Just said here.
And Maureen Debeguer.
Here.
David Israel's not here. Ed Grossman's not here. Dominic's not. Stuart Richland.
Stewart is here.
Fausto, you're here.
I'm here.
Patricia's not.
Patricia's out.
David's here.
David Boaz is here.
And I'm here. So we've got
I don't think we have a quorum.
10. Yeah, there's a quorum.
We have a quorum?
I'm gonna separate them two if I'm gonna keep talking.
I don't talk.
Yeah, we have a
Yeah.
quorum.
Is Kelly?
6 of the 8 members.
Did you call Kelly?
Is Kelly on?
Yeah, he was appointed to the board.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Down the road.
Good, sure.
I always thought it was to keep the committee small.
Kelly, how do you spell your last name?
JANSSEN.
Thank you.
You're here.
I'll need your email address
Okay.
after the meeting. Thank you.
All right, we have a quorum.
A new member. Kelly Jansen.
We have a quorum. The minutes are on the back page. Yes? Any corrections to the minutes, Ms. Joyce? Ruth?
Laura Coffey's name is spelled wrong. Who's the, C-O-F-F-Y. And the next paragraph, the brochures will be delivered to the UCO printer, not to UCO.
Oh, wait.
Goes to the printer.
Okay.
Any other corrections to the minutes? I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Seconded by John. Okay. All right. Miss Monica, you're first up on the list.
All right, thank you, Fausto. Good afternoon, everybody. Small group today. Everybody good? Okay. The first thing we're looking at is your statement of operations, and this is for the 6 months ended April 30th. For the month of April, our total income was $489,000. Your total expenses for the month, $481,000. So we have a profit of $7,400. Year to date, our total income, $4,128,000. Total expenses, $4,270,000. So that's a loss of $142,000 for the 6 months. For that period, we had actually budgeted a loss of $395,000. So it's a positive variance of $253,000. If you look down the right side of your page under your variance column, you'll see the largest variance in income is your reserve revenues of $1.2 million, and the largest variance under your expenses is maintenance and repairs of $1 million. So obviously that's reflective of the HVAC project. Any questions? Okay. At the bottom is your social activity summary. For the month of April, our theater income was $6,100. For the theater, dances, and movies, we paid $8,400, so we had a loss of $2,300. For the 6 months, the total income for theater and dances is $229,000. We paid $277,000, so a loss of $49,000. We had budgeted a loss of $109,000, so it's a positive variance of $60,000. Next report is your cash balances. As of April 30th, our total operating funds, $954,000. Our infrastructure and improvements and contingency reserve are down to $364,000. Excuse me, I got that backwards. The windstorm deductible reserve down to $364,000, and our contingency and infrastructure reserves down to $29,000. Total reserve funds $394,000. Your total available cash $1,347,000. Next report is your social activity profit and loss, and this is for the month of May. During May, we had 4 theater performances, 911 tickets were sold. Our gross sales were $4,466. When we reduce that for our audience view cost and our sales tax, our net sales are $3,630. We paid the performers $3,450, so we have a profit of a whopping $180. For our dances, we had 491 people attending our Friday night dances. We paid $1,440. And we had 4 movies during the month. We had 445 people attending the movies, for which we paid $1,284. So between your theater, dances, and movies for the month of May, we have a loss of $2,543. Questions, comments? Okay. Next report is revenue collected from guests. This report is also through the end of May. Total box office sales in terms of dollars for the 7 months is $190,000, of which $132,000 represents box office sales to residents, so that's 69%, while $58,000 or 31% was box office sales to guests. To translate that into the number of tickets sold, total tickets sold 16,680. 75% of that, or 12,546 tickets, were sold to residents, while 4,134 tickets were sold to guests. Included in the total box office sales for guests, the $3 that we add to the ticket price for guests for the 7 months amounted to $12,402. Guest passes that were sold in the ID office for the period, an additional $28,867. Guest passes that were sold in the ID office, $7,860. So our total revenue from sales to guests for the 7 months, $49,129. Next report, last report, is your Estoppel income report. This is also through May. May of this year, there were 56 units that were sold in the community, and when we compare that to the prior year, the same month, there were 69 units sold. So it's a bit of a decrease, but year to date, there's been 407 units sold in this community. Same period in the prior year, 488 units sold. So it's a decrease of 81 units, or 17%. Year to date, we've collected $85,790. Same period in the prior year, we collected $105,370. So it's a decrease of just under $20,000. And this is typical of what we're seeing in all of our communities, that the number of sales are starting to slow down a bit. So unless there's any questions for me, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mom. Dan, you're up.
Good afternoon. First one is the, again, the HVAC. Hopefully, this will be the last month that we'll be talking about it. We
Don't
did
jinx
get,
yourself.
excuse me? Yeah. We just have, we're just waiting on a hood for one of the units, and that will be delivered, which I've been saying since August, in August. Other than that, we have pretty much the engineers sign off on every piece of equipment. We just finished off the party room, which was the last of the confirmation from the engineer. And hopefully by next week, I'll be talking to them. They're gonna do some more inspections on that party room area, and we should be pretty much signed off on this thing. We're looking pretty good on the control systems. Maybe the next meeting I will have a little demonstration up here of how this thing works in the back of the screen here, so you can see what we have and how it's working and how we monitor it, okay? Pretty nice system. Lets us know by color, really, to tell you the truth, where everything's at, you know, so right off the bat, people don't have to look at numbers or whatever it is, it just looks at a color and basically tells you if there's a problem somewhere, you know, in the building. Makes it easy for the maintenance director to get at it right away. Any questions on the HVAC?
A couple of Fridays ago, I went to the party room and they said that there was a problem with the air conditioning. They couldn't balance it out. It was either real hot or real cold.
Yeah, well, we were working on the system, that's why I'm at this point right now. I give it at least this week, okay, to get all the nuts and crannies taken care of, but they put the ductwork back together. You'll see that there was some holes that were put inside there to put the new ductwork that way they thought where the loss of pressure was, and we should be balancing that off pretty much by the end of this week.
Good.
Any other questions? Okay, Hastings locker room. I just, now that we just got this meeting upstairs that we said we would be starting that on the 5th of July, okay? So we'll be putting up signs then, letting everyone know that that's going to be closed, okay, for the construction of the locker rooms. You want to bring them?
So, we're talking, hold on. The gym and the aerobics area will remain open, as will upstairs. Pool area will be closed because that's where the contractor's gonna set up, and he's gonna enter the locker rooms from the pool area, so we don't have to close down the lobby and access to both rooms, gym and aerobics.
We decided to keep that open to try to accommodate the residents and putting a facility outside for restrooms, since we cannot utilize the restrooms inside. So they'll be coming in through the main lobby, and also the exit doors will be utilized also on the back sides. Yes?
How long is that gonna take? Because the pool being closed, you know, they're gonna get hysterical.
We're gonna say a 2-month period, okay, because of permitting.
The biggest issue we have with the pools is the resistance pool. A lot of people use that. So once the contractor sets up, I would like to see if there's something that we could do to let people, give them 1 hour to come for the resistance pool. Whether it be first thing in the morning before they get started or when they leave at the end of the day. But we're gonna look into that and see the feasibility of it.
Well, we're gonna try to work everything out, but
Yeah.
remember, we have a lot of work there. I don't wanna keep closing, opening. I'd rather have it,
No, I agree.
because we have the carpet and everything, that lobby's gonna be closed down as soon as we get to a certain section. So we'll try to work with this, but just understand that there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle to try to get done as fast as possible. And that might inconvenience the residents for a little bit, but it is what it is.
When
We'll
is
try to
this
get
gonna
open
happen?
if that's okay.
When will this happen?
July 5th is when we're gonna start the locker rooms.
Thank you.
Was brought up, it's not on this agenda, but I just wanted to bring up, we're still working on that, the gym replacement, changing sides from the aerobics room to the gym. One, I'm pretty sure we have a triple fall we have inside there in the gym.
Yes, we do.
One thing that I like to, when we get this all said and done, is that when we get the drawing made up to show how the equipment's gonna be laid out, it's definitely gonna give you a lot more space, okay, to be able to walk in between the pieces of equipment and in front, and also some additional down for future, you know? So there is a big difference in the two rooms, okay? So we're almost, I think by the next month's meeting, we should have some numbers, 100% on that, you know, to move forward with budget, to see if that's the direction you want to go. And I think for safety reasons, we got to look at that. You know?
Absolutely.
Okay. I brought up, because I was talking to Eva, we've been getting prices even last year on the main clubhouse roof, okay? After we put the units up on the top of the theater roof, okay, which is the flat roof, we've had a lot of leaks over the years there. And there's also an area when we were doing the construction on the shingle side of the roof too, where there could be some deterioration of the plywood up there. We're looking at over 15 years on this flat roof, over that, if not more, and on the shingle. And we're gonna look into getting some bids on that for us to take a look at. It's pretty important to get that, since we put all that piece of equipment up there and keeping the complex as sealed as possible, you know? So it's not a cheap thing, as you know. We did the Hastings roof, and that was a flat roof, and it's a lot smaller, okay? Plus we got the shingle roof on this one, which will be less cost than the tile roof that we had in the Hastings. All these communities. But we are looking for getting prices together. We'll probably have the same person who did it years ago. It's a spec engineer that will spec it out and then put it out for bid. Yes.
I thought they did the roof when we had the big hurricane damage, when they closed the clubhouse down for like months.
That was in
2005?
2004,
Yeah.
Francis and Jean hit 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought the
so
roof was
that's when I
done
moved
then.
here.
So it's over 15 years.
18 years, that's 18
20
years.
years ago.
That's when I moved here.
Oh, shit.
When we're gonna look at it closer.
Last week. It seemed to me like that.
That's the year I moved here.
I was just giving it a little bit, 15, but it's over that, so.
Oh, wow.
Real quick on the North Canal, I just know that our attorneys have talked. I'm gonna basically let Donald, he's got more information on this than we do, but we know that our attorney had met with your attorney. Okay.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so, I know you guys have all been very focused on South Canal and the upcoming agreement. But there's also some serious over North Canal, and that's been going on for some time. Here's the situation on North Canal. As you know, North Canal stretches across the entire northern border of Century Village from Haverhill Road west to Sussex F. Like South Canal, North Canal over the years has partially filled in for various reasons, so it's lost some of its ability to catch water, which is what it was intended to do. Despite the name canal, the ditch is just that. It really was never made to convey water left to right or right to left. But that's what we've been doing all these years. Here's where it gets tricky. There's a lot of confusion over ownership there. If you look on the PAPA map, which is the property appraiser's map, and click on the different strips that cover this area, you'll click on the lower strip, which will be the Sheffield Associations. Click one more up, and the strip is owned by a defunct company called Century Utilities, which was Mr. Levy's water company that he years ago sold to the Palm Beach County Water Utilities. Beyond that is a long strip that goes the entire length, all the way over to the Dorchester Bridge. When you click on it, nothing comes up. It appears to have no owner. So what we think is that was some sort of roadway easement.
That's it.
For a road that was never built, 10th Street extension or something like that. So that's difficult. And then above that you have Archie Shalom and the Hastings associations, and to the east, private owners, housing. So, the question is, who does this canal belong to? That's what our attorney, Rod Tennyson, and WPRF's attorney, Laura Coffey, are working through right now. It's a sticky mess, so the lawyers are going at it. That's kind of all I have on it, except to relate that we have, Eva and I have both been approached by the presidium of the new congregation, Anshe Shalom, the synagogue that's nearby, and that's about the bridge. There's a bridge that spans the canal from the Sheffield section over to Anshe Shalom, goes over the canal. I closed that bridge, access to it, years ago because it's falling apart, it has holes in it. And those people over there are naturally eager to see that opened up again, because it was put there for a reason, because otherwise you have to walk, if you're walking, you have to go all the way down to Grove Street and up and Glencoe Street and all the way up again. I've made it clear that that's not something that we can allow because somebody will get hurt. So it's a little bit of a thing going on there. So that's kind of all I have on this. I think the original impetus here was to somehow get the county to claim suzerainty over this and do it for us, do the dredging for us. Am I right, Dan? How do you think that's going?
Well, first,
That was a
again,
trick
I think-
question, but.
Well, no, I mean, I was involved in some of that, I'm not the attorneys, but I think what they're handing over to your attorney has good information there to lead it in a direction that'll put a lot of pressure on somebody, you know, with your political pull.
I mean, here's the problem as I see it. That canal must soon be dredged. The closest person here that lives near it is Joanne. She was talking with me about it recently. She says it's the highest water level she's ever seen, and I went down and looked, and sure it is. I'm a little bit concerned about it. The problem is UCO doesn't own it. And there's a question of whether, is it what, a waterway management agreement between WPRF and
Yeah, but it doesn't include those two.
it doesn't include
It does
those
not.
canals.
And it's basically called as a drainage ditch, you mentioned before, as
Right.
not a canal, because the canals were part of that agreement.
Correct, and these are not.
These are not.
To make things even a little more stickier is UCO entered into a reclaimed water agreement with the county in around 2006, I think, where we started to purchase the reclaimed water from the county, and the county put a giant, I'll call it a spigot, at the left side of the property, and that water blasted day in, day out, and the idea was to move that water down the canal to basically the North Lagoon, which would get it to the main waterways. Trouble is that it was not engineered for that. So even the county, I think there was a little bit of a remiss there.
And I think Laura probably, I'm gonna just state it real quick, because
Yeah.
that was a sticky portion of it. How they pulled the permit for that
Yeah.
is because it's on the property that nobody claims. Okay, so the only.
Yeah, the
people that-
spigot's not on my property.
Not on,
you
it's
know.
on that piece of equipment, that's why.
I mowed
they're
the lawn
gonna-
around it.
It was I know during a conversation that we had, it was the attorney and everybody stood still, they didn't have anything that we could see, because you can't put something on a piece of property without having it written off by either the association, which it did, because it went through an association property, but then it got to that property and they put it in there. So that's where your attorney needs to really stick on that
Yeah.
one too, because it's on that utility easement that supposedly sold to the water department.
But Dan, what do you think the ultimate outcome is here? How does this end?
I think with political pull, they were willing to work, you just need to put some pressure, you know?
All right.
You need to push the pressure. I think that if you put the pressure, I think it'll work out to your benefit, you know?
So when Dan says to our benefit, what he means is convincing the county to take responsibility for the North Canal and dredge it on their dime. I'm skeptical, I just, all they have to say is
Or
no.
even to negotiate due to the fact that, negotiate something even with the cleanup, or
Right.
say who's gonna own it, you know? So I think there's, again, it's all to the attorneys, okay?
Yeah.
But you got a lot of ammunition there to go after them pretty good with it.
And on our side, we have a nice infrastructure reserve, it's precisely designed for this kind of work, but we don't own it. How do any of us say, let's spend you to know the money on property we don't own, but at the same time, if we neglect it, sooner or later or sooner, we're gonna have an event that negatively affects our constituents, our unit owners. So this is something that's ongoing, you should be aware of, and the officers at UCO are aware too. All right, that's kind of all I got on that, thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah, hi,
On the north side,
Yeah.
in that canal, like you talked about the spigot, to get in when we're low on water, it fills it up, which is nice.
in a perfect scenario, they would give us the water when we needed it, which would be the dry season, right? It doesn't work that way. They
It's-
basically give us water when they got water to get rid of. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that wasn't my question.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
We know we can get it in,
Right.
but then that water is gonna go all around Century Village to the waterways, correct?
So it does.
Right, and there's no way to get it out. 'Cause like,
Well, the way most of it gets out is evaporation.
Irrigation.
And then the second thing is we have 27 irrigation pump stations drawing water out of it, it's going on your lawn. Good news is that water, while 98% potable, has high concentrations of potassium and nitrogen, which are the essential ingredients of fertilizer. So it's actually good for your lawn, just don't try to drink it, take a bath in it. I'm sorry, keep going. You don't have to raise your hand, just keep going.
no, I gotta ask my question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, like June, they just said, June, right now, we've had over 11 inches of rain.
Correct.
Our waterways are very full. And it's been, I think, quite a while since we've gone so far down.
Yeah.
And climate's changing. And now, I'm concerned about, you're giving the golf course access to the South Canal for all their water. And the water, the lakes and the canals are coming up so far. I mean, where I'm at in Dover, and you can see Somerset,
Sure.
the trees are almost underwater.
Yeah. Now,
And we haven't even gotten golf course water.
Now, you're already, just so you know, you're already getting golf course water. There is historical drainage. One of the two places where the Funk Golf Course's water meet our water is in
It's
two
not
spots.
cement.
One is right underneath Dover. There's
No, I
no-
understand, right by the gazebo.
Right by the gazebo.
That's
and
correct, but the golf course is all real land. It's not concrete and asphalt.
Very good. You're describing impermeable surface, and that's one of the things that we're concerned about.
That's a very big concern.
Yep.
And my question, why did you give him an easement to use
We
them?
haven't yet. That's to be decided by the Board of Directors next week. There's a draft agreement. I'd be happy to send you a copy. Just send me an email.
Now, who's the board of, you guys, the board?
No,
of-
this is the oversight committee for the recreational facility.
A
right.
separate committee, okay.
What the delegate assembly, which meets on the first Friday of every month, is the board of directors of UCO, which your association, I can't remember, but you got quite a few delegates.
A couple show up.
It's apportioned about 24, one delegate for every 24 units.
I think they have
9
nine. I
delegates.
think they have 9.
They have 9 total. So you're
Most of the year, and last year it was 2 that showed up.
well, you got, get on the stick. There's no reason why you can't be named. If you're a unit owner, you can be named as a delegate. You don't have to be an officer. Just simply ask your board to
No, I
name you
know,
as
I'm
delegate.
on now, I've been
Oh,
coming.
so you are a delegate.
Oh, yeah, but we don't get to speak at the meetings or to anybody, we're not allowed to.
Do you go to the delegate assembly meetings?
No, not your meetings, Dover meetings.
Oh, that's a whole
They don't
different
even,
thing.
oh, please.
Yeah, don't go in there. Marriage counseling is not my forte. But anyway, on drainage, you're absolutely right. These concerns are being addressed with engineers, right? The golf course facilities owner has an engineering firm working for them. It's called WGI. We, UCO, have an engineering firm working for us. That's Simmons and White, and we're waiting on a report on that. And then overlying all of that, you have the county engineering department, who has to sign off on anything they do, and impact is part of that.
Yeah, but the impact is totally on Century Village.
Well, that's far outside my pay grade to answer.
Well, no, because the water is gonna come into us.
I wouldn't dream to even comment to that. That's an engineer's job to tell you that. But also, that kind of doesn't belong in this meeting. This is about the recreational facility, and,
Well, it's the same thing what you're dealing with on who's gonna do the north, on the whole North Canal.
it's a very similar problem.
That's right.
Right now, there's a quiet title action going on the south side, and we've already signed the agreement with that, with the owner, and then, very similar situation there. You have defunct companies like Winky Utilities and whatnot, and then you have, Yuko owns a piece, a small piece, the county owns a piece, and there's some other defunct properties. Right this minute, lawyers are working on quieting all those titles and getting them in the name of Yuko. So if there needs to
I
be work
understand.
done, it's our land, we can approve it or fix it. So that's going on now.
Yeah, but we have it coming from both north and south.
To my mind, drainage is the most critical thing that we have going on here in this village.
Because it doesn't go down right.
We're on the original Florida swampland. So, there's
Well, it's
nothing more
already got
important.
enough water in it,
Indeed.
under it,
I hope I've answered your question. See
Some of
you
it.
next Friday.
some of it. Thank you.
You will.
I think, just to add a little bit, there is an outlet which they've worked, and actually, there's a weir out there located that
Right,
goes
that's-
out towards Okeechobee Road, and which your board approved and did a nice clean out. And if you noticed, the lakes were pretty high lately. You saw the water on that area was just running off nicely, and the biggest flow that we had, that I saw going underneath Okeechobee, they took a video of it just recently. It was the most water I've ever seen coming out of there from the cleanup that they led us to. Moving forward, I think that we're clear for any hurricanes that we were concerned about, the blockage that we might have there, but it's with the drainage that we did, dredging that we did, it cleared it up really nicely there.
How long had it been since that you had cleaned it out before?
Sometime, years.
It's been some time,
That's what I
yes.
saw, I've been watching it.
And I'm sorry, but that directly answers your question. Sometimes I need a little straightening out that way. Your question was, where does the water go?
But now it's, like Dan just said.
Ultimately, it's that weir.
It's going out to, under
Yeah, when it
Okeechobee.
gets to a certain height, that's where he's telling you too, that's why the engineers have to calculate to make sure that weir is
The
able to handle
overage.
whatever else is going on,
Right.
out there, okay?
Oh, well,
When you're
that's-
driving up Okeechobee,
There's no-
when you're driving west on Okeechobee Boulevard towards Century Village, take a look to the right between the fire station and the closed down car wash. Just take a quick look without stopping the car, and you'll see that canal. That's the plug to our bathtub. That's where excess water shoots out and goes into the.
Goes into that?
Correct. Send me an email. I'll give you some videos and stuff, and you can go over there and take a look at it if you like.
Well, I've walked our side of it.
Yeah, you can get to the other side too. So you have my email address, send me an email.
I'll come in from Okeechobee and look.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this one, I think that's pretty much all I have on my side, other than we have one more thing with the lady who started off with on the new business.
Right, well, we have a new bid that was sent out for the bid committee, but I understand that that meeting this month was canceled.
Yeah.
So then I sent it out to the officers, for the officers' meeting, so that the information could be gone over. And the project is, it's the milling and paving of the traffic circle out in front of the clubhouse. So there's a lot of chance for trip hazards over there. It's so warm. Right. And we have had, right. So I do have this, if you want to take a look, but pass them around. The very last page is a picture of the area that will be redone. It also is that by the south double doors, there, that area for drop-off, that will be included. And so, last year budget time, the committee approved $37,600 for this project. We were able to get two bids, one from Atlantic Southern and one from the paving lady. Atlantic Southern's bid came in at $39,584. And the paving lady came in at $53,300. So I'm asking the committee to choose and vote to accept one or the other. I mean, I think Atlantic Southern has done a lot of work for us, and I believe you've also been using them, Donald, for your road
almost
work.
exclusively now.
Is that the company that bid 37?
Yes,
Yes.
Well, no,
39.
our budget amount was 37.6. They came in $2,000 above that, but paving lady came in at 53.3.
John, my
It's a
recommendation,
no-brainer.
if you don't mind, I could state the,
I agree with
so you could just say, so moved. So the motion would be to accept the proposal for Atlantic Southern paving for mill and overlay of the traffic circle in front of the clubhouse for a total cost of $39,584.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Any second?
Second.
Seconded by Ruth.
I don't think we need to discuss it. It's apples to oranges.
I could tell you some.
$20,000.
Yuko probably uses that vendor more than anyone on the property, and while we should be bidding things out maybe once a year or so, really, they become a preferred vendor because of the quality of the work and the pricing.
And that is true, consistently lower than other vendors.
I believe that's how the officers voted also.
There wasn't, the officers really weren't in a position to vote on this because it's belongs here, but they will find everything.
Let's call the question.
Do we need a roll call vote, or can we just, because really, you're only
Yeah.
voting on $2,000, because the budget is 37, and it's a 39,000 there.
Do a roll call vote, just to be on the safe side.
Okay. So the motion is made by John Gregg and seconded by Ruth Dries to accept the
David?
bid
Atlantic
from
Southern.
Atlantic Southern
Huh?
for $39,000
Yeah,
for
same one we got, thank you.
the traffic circle and paving.
Maybe she didn't see it.
Maureen Deviere,
Goes back up there, right?
David Furness.
David?
Okay.
Okay, got it.
John Hess,
Yes.
Joyce Reese,
Yes.
Ruth Dries,
Yes.
John Gregg,
Yes. Yes.
Kelly Jansen,
He'll have to leave.
He walked out. He had enough of us.
He had a phone call or
That's
something.
it. My vote is yes. David Boaz,
Yes.
Fausto,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
and motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, you'll notice that it says the main clubhouse North Lake Fountain. You'll notice coming to the clubhouse that it has not been running. And so we have received a bid, and the only reason I'm bringing it to your attention is it's a little bit over the $2,500 that we can spend. So I wanted to notify you that it came in at $3,501, and what's going to be replaced is a single-phase motor and a standard capacitor box for the fountain. All right, so we're moving forward to have that repaired. I'm just bringing it to your attention that it was a little over the
If you send me an email, I'll see what just-
$2,500.
Okay, thank you.
So, she need a motion on that, or?
Yeah, we'll just,
Or just let it go?
it's a budgeted item, you said, right? It's in the budget?
Yes, it comes
Yeah,
in
but there are
under,
line. Right.
yeah, there's a line for it.
There's a line item, so we don't have to,
Good.
But because it was over the 2,500, I'm just bringing it to you so you know. Okay. All right, and Maureen?
Used to have lights on the fountains.
Yeah,
One
nice.
time at nighttime, the
Yes.
lights shine. They haven't
Neither
been on.
one?
Oh, they haven't been on for a long time.
Yeah.
There's white lights, and then there was also colored lights.
Right,
You're
the
telling me
colored lights.
the colored lights are gone?
Yeah.
I just assumed you knew, because it's been like.
Yeah, that hasn't been
You know, I'm not here at night, so I really didn't see it.
They haven't been there for months.
No, it
Yeah.
isn't, literally.
I think we were doing blue and green. I think to do red conjures up the wrong images, so we were doing blue and green alternating lights.
Yeah, I'm all for red lights.
It was pretty, it was different.
Not politically correct.
red lights.
Light bill went down, didn't it, when I shut them off?
Yeah, so we're gonna need
I've only seen the
and
colored
Asia will
ones.
contact them to find out why.
Two or
And what happened to those blue lights? Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah.
You're so good.
I'll keep an eye on it.
I never even noticed.
And that's it for that. The next, under discussion, I was contacted by a resident by the name of Amy. Is Amy here? No? No Amy?
Oh, Amy.
No Amy. She was gonna speak on the topic of bingo and that there is several residents that would like to see it come back.
You know, can I say something about that?
Absolutely.
I don't think UCO wants to get involved in bingo, and you know, and you can't get involved because it's for profit
No,
making.
we've always made the space available for
I know,
the
I'm
event,
talking
right?
about.
But
you
that's as
can't
far
run
as
it.
our
We're
involvement
talking
is.
about running.
Yeah, we decided that last year, that we weren't gonna
Yeah, we talked about it last year. You know, you can't run it, and UCO don't want to run it. They
Right.
don't have the personnel to run it.
Well, there was somebody who was willing to learn and who had been part of the original group that was running it. But I understand the why, but the residents want to have it back. So we're just hearing from the residents. That's all that this is. I mean, you decide whether you stand on that or not.
I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
The issue is, right now, there's no one, other than myself, there's nobody that has any experience on running bingo. Two, it has to be run, it has to be overseen by somebody from UCO, because it is a UCO function.
Correct.
So you're either a 501c3 or a non-for-profit, and we had offered it at one time to the temple if they wanted to do it, and they walked away from it. So right now, we're down on manpower, and nobody's really stepping up to the plate.
And it's monitored by the state.
Well, of course,
Yeah.
Licensed, yeah.
so. I have almost 30 years working with bingo in New York, so.
Right. Yeah. Listen, this, she sent an email actually to both Donald and I, and so this was the venue for it.
Yeah.
But she
Well-
didn't show.
She didn't
Well-
show, so
She didn't show.
keep rest.
The issue is that it's still somebody from UCO that has to have an understanding of how to do it, has to be there, and right now, we're not in a position to do that.
That's right.
We're slightly understaffed, slightly.
Yeah.
A lot of people are asking for it.
They've been asking for it.
That's why I'm gonna stop going to Friday night dances, because that's all they wanna talk about.
Right.
The buses and bingo. So, I did tell one person, I used to run a $9,000 game, and I'm gonna bring that back to Century Village. She goes, that's too much money. I said, well, we're gonna do one game a month, and it'll be a $9,000 game. Ma'am, you had your hand
So
up.
I was just gonna ask, I know UCO's nonprofit, can you sub it out to another nonprofit?
That's a good question.
That,
UCO's a nonprofit, but we're not the only nonprofit in town, right?
No, in Century Village.
Exactly right. There are service organizations, there's Pastoral Run Sea Tank Club, which is a 501c3.
Nope, we're just not-for-profit, not a 501c3.
Oh, you're not, okay.
But
There's two temples. Every bingo I ever went to before I came here was either a church or a temple.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
they want bingo balls.
KFC would run it, Wayne would run it, or the synagogue would run it. And I believe that's how it started on the Century Villages, is that right?
The umbrella organization operates bingo in
Right.
both
Right.
Boca and Pembroke Pines. Yeah.
It's
Can't do
Go ahead, Tim.
a compromisable,
it. Yeah.
What's an umbrella?
Excuse me, someone's talking, people. Go ahead.
it's a compromisable way out for UCO, because if you, at least you made an effort and you tried with the other ones, nobody wants to do it, so it can kill itself.
Ask you a question.
I understand, there are a lot of places that do bingo, they just wanna have it here, they don't wanna go to other places that do bingo.
That's right.
And to probably run the bingo, we probably need, at least 7 or 8 volunteers. And,
No,
I'm just, no, I'm give you a heads up, and when
I
we
don't
did
care.
have bingo here,
I'm not
if you
bingo.
volunteered, you also got to play bingo. In New York State, New Jersey, you can't do that.
Right.
If you
I don't
volunteer, you don't play bingo. So that would kill your 7 or 8 volunteers.
I don't
So-
care about all that, I'm
No,
just saying.
There's a story behind it, you
No, I
have
know
to
that,
understand
I know
why.
that, I'm aware of some of
So,
that.
okay,
But does a bus go to bingo outside the gates?
No,
no,
Yeah, but a lot of them don't drive, and not at night.
can't go everywhere.
they go to Marionette. They
They never used to go anywhere, but my parents lived here.
Huh?
They used to go to Denver anyway.
It's like 12 minutes, 15 minutes with traffic.
That's why I'm going to, we'll be raising it.
Do we have anything else for discussion? Yes, Ms. Maureen?
Would you consider maybe having it once a month instead of like every week?
Well, you know that I was considering that, yes.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just what he said, yeah,
I would
I'm
consider
sorry,
doing
didn't
that.
hear you say that.
$9,000.
Yeah,
I'm
but it would be,
talking to Foster.
but again, if I took, if Yuko were to do it and let me run it, if you volunteered, you can't play bingo.
Right.
You can't do both.
Well, if I
Either you volunteer or you play,
I volunteer, I don't play.
so. But that's food for thought, and now's not the time to do it.
Okay. Just a question.
Any other discussion?
Can I make a motion?
Sure, go ahead.
Let's go home.
Thank you.
I second it.
Hey, cocktails on the patio.
Thanks, bye.
Are there any more of those